Headphones on for the best experience in today's video. We will explore Ramesses VIII, the 7th pharaoh of the 20th dynasty. The rise of Ramesses VIII. A forgotten legacy. Peace Sarmatra. Akhenamun. Ramesses VIII, born Prince Sethherkhepsef II, was the 9th son of Ramesses III and the 7th ruler of Egypt's 20th dynasty. His Deen reign, shrouded in obscurity, was a fleeting moment in the grand history of the new kingdom. Yet, the weight of his lineage and the echoes of his ancestors shaped his rule, even as his reign remained brief and largely undocumented. The dynastic struggle and ascendancy. Ramesses VIII's path to the throne was marked by the political turmoil that followed the assassination of his father, Ramesses III. The 20th dynasty was plagued by internal strife, economic strain, and the diminishing power of the pharaoh. The great imperial conquests of the 18th and 19th dynasties had stretched Egypt's resources thin, and the empire's influence in the Levant and Nubia was waning. His ascension was unconventional, bypassing several potential heirs. The reasons behind this remain speculative, but the decline of centralized power and court intrigues likely played a role. Ramesses VIII's short rule suggests either a weak claim or an inability to consolidate his authority in an empire struggling under the weight of external threats and internal decay. The state of Egypt under Ramesses VIII. Unlike his predecessors, who expanded Egypt's reach, Ramesses VIII inherited an empire in retreat. The Sea Peoples, Libyan incursions, and declining control over Canaan had diminished Egypt's dominance. Trade routes were unstable, tomb robberies became rampant, and priestly power in Thebes continued to challenge the authority of the pharaoh. The once unquestioned might of Egypt was slipping, and the struggle to maintain order defined his brief tenure. Ramesses VIII. Leadership and aggression. Though historical records on Ramesses VIII are sparse, his rise to power in a time of internal strife suggests a ruler who had to assert himself aggressively. The weakening grip of pharaohs in the late 20th dynasty meant that leadership required not only ceremonial status, but also a forceful hand to maintain control. The presence of political rivals and a dominant priesthood in Thebes likely made his tenure one of constant struggle. Ramesses VIII may not have led grand military campaigns like his predecessors, but his leadership required a different kind of battle. The fight to sustain the pharaoh's authority in an era of increasing decentralization. His willingness to claim the throne despite the overshadowing influence of the priesthood and competing claimants demonstrates a leader who was determined to maintain the traditional power of the royal house, even in the face of growing opposition. The architectural and religious impact. Unlike the monumental achievements of Ramesses II or the extensive building programs of Seti I, Ramesses VIII left little architectural imprint. The absence of significant construction projects suggests that resources were too depleted or his rule too short to commission grand structures. His cartouches appear on scattered monuments, but no temple or significant inscription stands as a testament to his reign. The religious landscape of Egypt was increasingly dominated by the high priests of Amun in Thebes, whose power overshadowed the pharaoh's authority. Ramesses VIII likely contended with their influence, though no major reforms or decrees from his reign are recorded. The legacy of a forgotten pharaoh. Historical records barely acknowledge Ramesses VIII, and his burial site remains uncertain. Unlike his illustrious predecessors, his final resting place does not bear the grandeur of the royal tombs in the Valley of the Kings. Some speculate his tomb was usurped by later rulers, while others believe it was never completed. His absence from the grand narrative of Egypt's history raises questions about the extent of his influence and the stability of his reign. Yet, despite the scarcity of records, Ramesses VIII remains a symbol of an era in transition. He ruled at a time when the pharaoh's divine image was being challenged, when the military might of Egypt had faded, and when the kingdom was at a crossroads between its former glory and impending fragmentation. The struggle for authority. Ramesses VIII's reign was not just a passive transition, but a period of silent conflict. The growing power of the priesthood, particularly in Thebes, posed a direct challenge to the pharaoh's supremacy. Without significant military campaigns or economic reforms, his influence remained largely ceremonial, and the administrative functions of Egypt continued to shift towards powerful religious figures. The shift in authority from pharaoh to the high priests of Amun foreshadowed the collapse of the new kingdom and the division of power in the later dynasties. The role of the pharaoh as a divine ruler was weakening, and Ramesses VIII found himself caught between the remnants of an imperial past and the uncertain future of a fractured Egypt. This power struggle marked the beginning of Egypt's slow decline into the Third Intermediate Period, where kingship would become fragmented and priestly rule would dominate vast portions of the kingdom. The enduring lesson of history, the reign of Ramesses VIII, teaches us that even in times of decline, the legacy of a civilization endures. His story, though shadowed in obscurity, reflects the resilience of Egypt itself, a nation that faced internal and external threats, yet persisted through the ages. True greatness is not only in conquest or longevity, but in the lessons left behind for future generations. To know the past is to understand the cycles of power, the rise and fall of kings, and the eternal pursuit of legacy. History is not only the record of triumph, but also the testament of endurance. And in the forgotten names of pharaohs like Ramesses VIII, we find the echoes of an empire that refused to be erased. The future is built on the knowledge of the past. To look upon the reign of Ramesses VIII is to recognize that power is fleeting, but wisdom is eternal. Understanding history grants insight into the fragility of leadership and the consequences of political decay. The lessons of the past are tools for the present, and those who seek knowledge will shape the destiny of tomorrow. Kindly click like, subscribe, and share this channel.